So today I wanted to talk to you just for a few minutes around, are you playing big in your life? And what do I mean by big? One of the things that I recognize that happened to me somewhere along the line pretty early was that I came from a family of 6 kids, and whenever my father took us out for ice creams or got us sodas or whatever it was, we always had to choose small. We could never choose medium or large. It was always small. It was like this unspoken rule. Even if you really wanted a medium ice cream cone, you could never get it. You could always get small. And so it just became, that's the way it was. And even into my adult life, I always ordered small because that's what I became used to. That was the habit I was in. And then one day, I remember I wanted to do something and I thought, oh, well, that would be really big. And I remember how uncomfortable I felt by the word big. And what I realized was that in my life, because I was always choosing small, 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 it even translated into the experiences I wanted and the work that I thought I could do or the jobs I could go after. And once I realized that, like this idea of always having to choose small permeated throughout my whole life, I started to sort of look at everything and discovered that in so many cases I had the opportunity to play larger, to be larger, to go after larger things, and I let it pass me by. I either let it pass me by indecision because I was uncomfortable, or I just didn't think I deserved it. So it's interesting that this very, very, I would say, passive statement in my life, which was, you went to the ice cream counter and you ordered a small cone. You got a soda and you ordered small, became this thing that influenced all aspects of my life. And so I want you to take a moment and think about your childhood and what your parents might have had you do, whether it was for financial reasons or it was just the way they were. What kind of statements did they tell you? What kinds of actions did they request of you? And if one seems particularly strong, like you realize like, oh my gosh, this is the first thing I could remember always, then I want you to say, how did that impact all aspects of my life? And did it impact? Like, it may or may not have impacted you, but it's worth exploring to see if it did impact you. Because if it did, one of the things that you can do is you can turn it around. So for me, when I realized like I was trapped in this idea of I can only have small things, I can only go after things that were incremental movement, not big or large movement, I started to have to retrain my brain to think differently. Every time I would naturally go for anything small, I would stop. And literally I'd say, stop. What do you choose in this moment? Are you choosing small because that's what you want, or are you choosing small because that's what you think you deserve? And every time I would ask that question, sometimes it was because it was what I wanted, but sometimes it was, oh, that's what I think I deserve. And so I would break that thought up. I'd say, nope, I deserve more. I deserve, whatever it was that I wanted more of. And so then I told my mind it was safe to go large or go larger than what I was intending. So when you come across some statements or some ways of being that you took on as a child, and you start to explore how they've impacted you as an adult, when you notice that indeed it's impacting other aspects of your life, you have a choice to break that pattern up. And the choice becomes, first you recognize it, and then you start breaking up that habit, because that's what happens. It becomes a habit. Like mine was a habit of just ordering small just because that's what I always did. And so every time I disrupted the habit by saying, nope, I'm going to choose large this time or medium this time, the habit breaks its hold on you. And over again, you'll suddenly realize the more and more you do it, it won't be a habit. You'll go to the window and you'll start to ask yourself, what do you feel like in this moment? Or you'll make a choice based on what you feel like, not based on the habit that your brain has gotten into. The other thing is, mine was tied to this element of deserving. So you can also look at the habit and say, what did that do to the value that I carry about myself? So for me, mine was connected to deserving, like, oh, I only deserved a small, or clearly that's all I could get was a small. So every time I would break the habit by making a different choice, I would also affirm that I deserve whatever I am choosing. I deserve whatever I am choosing. So typically our childhood patterns are connected to either deserving, worthiness, or feeling that we're lovable. Those are usually the three most common ones. Are we deserving? Are we worthy enough? Or are we lovable enough? So see which ones, if you have your pattern, see what it connects to. And if it's any one of those three, then I would create an affirmation and I would create a visualization. So an affirmation is something you say to yourself, I deserve whatever I choose. For those that are very visual, which I'm very visual, affirmations work a little bit for me, but they don't hold on. But if I start visualizing, oh, I'm deserving of having this, I deserve to have that, I deserve, and I imagine whatever it is coming towards me, then I can really feel the energy of deserving. And that's what you want to do at the end of the day, whether you're doing an affirmation or visualizing what you deserve. You want to feel it because that's what the universe knows, that level of energy that you feel around a particular topic. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is one of the biggest ways that I know we can become independent from those things that unbeknownst to us, sometimes it's just unconsciously that we do that no longer support us. All right, have a fantastic day. Bye, everyone.